Hello, monkey movers. Got ourselves some rapid speedrun games. Again, I'm against Vincent Delange, however you want to say that. Is that Netherlands? Yeah. All right. So a pretty normal opening so far. Nothing to really talk about. Just got to protect the B pawn. That's all. He didn't take the center though. He just played E6, as if to try to like trap me into dropping the B4 pawn. So as a result, his bishop's either going to have to be fianchettoed, or later in the game he's going to have to make some more maneuvers. But it's not like he really lost out on anything, since I've been having to make my own maneuvers supporting B4. Our friend Vincent does have a little bit of an interesting account. Overall, he is like 8,000 games, so that part doesn't make it too suspicious, but all of his recent games have been like 90+% accuracies. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully we could still beat Vincent. At the very least, he's taking a while with this opening, which is normally a good sign. It means that we may have caught him off guard. Fortunately, only 5 points if we beat him, and it's going to be 11 lost if we lose. So hopefully we could finally get over this 1940 barrier that I've been apparently stuck at with this game, and then push towards more heights, but we'll see what happens. So he's opted to fianchetto, but on the other side, which is a little interesting to me. I think I'll just play E3. Yeah, so he immediately plays bishop G7. Now, I'm not sure if I want to play C4 or not. I mean, it probably is better that I play it before he does. But kind of curious to see what he'll do. Probably just going to get another piece out for the time being with knight F3. He's going to castle. Right, and now, again, I don't know what I want to do just yet. I was hoping to wait to move my bishop or knight until he like showed me something a little more, but maybe I'll have to make do with the information that I have. Let's see. Yeah, I guess we'll go with C4 for the time being. So that way I give myself another option with the knight. Because for now the only option was to go, well, to the same square, but then my pawn would be stuck here. So at least now I have the option to try trading it off, or to, push it more. That also shouldn't impede my bishop too much, because I could just push C5 in the future, or trade it like I was saying. So yeah, we have some central control on him right now. And he's opted for a very safe setup. Alright, so now he finally contests the center. I could just play knight C3 here. He might play C6 in response. That'd be pretty normal. Now, I don't necessarily want to take, even if he does play C6, because he might still take with the e-pawn, therefore making his bishop useful. Since he's neglected to give it a good way to come out so far with like a B6, for example, then I probably want to kind of keep this formation for as long as possible. I might even meet C6 with a C5 down the road. Let me just think. So here, and take. How's that formation look? Seems like my bishop isn't necessarily hitting anything, but it looks like his also isn't doing anything either. I also don't have to worry about this pin. Maybe my queen can find a home on B3 in that case. Yeah, a few ideas. He's taking his time in the opening here. makes me worry less about his match history. To all my viewers at home, you will be seeing this game on August 1st. But if you follow the climb in its entirety, then you'll notice that the next few videos are also going to be recorded today and tomorrow. And that's going to be because I'm going to be gone for a week in Connecticut, seeing some friends. So there's going to be a lot of pre-recorded content here for you guys. So, I mean, you could spoil yourself, I guess, if you want to see how my rating has transformed by looking at the account on chess.com, but if you're here to not be spoiled or to try to maybe learn from the gameplay or something like that, then by all means, please go ahead. I hear my dog walking about. She's been kind of restless today, I don't know why. My guy is thinking. I mean, I reckon c6 is the play, or you just take the pawn, right? I don't know what else you would do. You can't push. You can't push your e-pawn. If you want to, you could put your knight on c6, but I don't know what you necessarily stand to gain from something like that. Oh god, my dog is being annoying. Here, while my opponent has taken 10 years, I'm going to go see what my dog is up to. Y'all can fast forward to the next move if you want. I'm too lazy to cut it. I'll be right back. Alright, people, I'm back. Has our opponent not moved yet? Okay. Well, I did successfully bribe my dog to stop barking at the very least. And it seems the bribe failed because she's still barking. But she wasn't barking to go outside or anything. And she has food. So she's just being a diva. Is what it seems. Here, we're going to research this guy's account together while we wait. Yeah, here he had a 99% accuracy. Then he had a 96%. Then 87%. But then he has some regular looking losses. So, I mean, it is possible he's just on like a hot streak. Yeah, he's actually dropped from 1940. So it looks like he's trending downwards, which is interesting. Alright, and we finally have a move from him. I wonder if that means he's intending to go to b6. Because this isn't a good square for him. I guess here I could take and then he could go here, but I'm just going to drop back. So I think what I'll do is I won't put my queen on b3, but rather I'll leave that open to my opponent. I'm also going to save my bishop moving for a little bit longer as well. So I'm going to go queen c2. Pretty much I'm just trying to develop without moving the same piece more than once if I don't have to, without good reason. So if I just haphazardly move pieces, even though they're going to end up on the same squares, at the end of the day, my bishop's still going to be here, knight's still going to be here, this bishop's still probably going to be here. Even though this is all very likely, if I just do these in any order, there could be a chance that he makes a move that will eventually kick one of my pieces from its post. Or what he'll do is he'll be able to fork, like my queen and my bishop, for example, and then I lose a lot of my positional strength. So even though these are structures, and I imagine that the London is going to be very similar, where you have, well, in the London it would be, your bishop here, knight here, pawn here, etc. Even though you're used to this structure, it's very similar, where sometimes you may be forced to play like a c4 in some lines, or sometimes you may want to play, your bishop coming out before your knight, or vice versa. So I'm trying to play pretty similarly with this opening. Kind of like a system, but you also have to be, flexible with the exact squares, that you're going to be sitting on. So knight coming here, if I were to push right there, he could probably just come jump in, trade. He'd have some weird pawns, but I'd have given up my bishop. Although I wouldn't have spent any tempo, and he would have spent 3 moves. I wonder, I think I'd be fine with that exchange. The only thing is, do I want to move my pawn to c5? Because the answer to that might not be yes. Another common thing that you have to think about with this opening is even though this bishop belongs on b2, it's not serving any purpose right now. For one, because if I were to close this up, then it's just going to be a bad bishop. And then for two, he has a defending g7 bishop, which is, I would say, stronger than my b2 bishop. So if I could either get these pawns pushed and then change my diagonal, or if I could trade this off, I think that I'd be fairly happy. Yeah, we're going to research this guy a little bit more. Mainly out of boredom. I'm not really suspicious anymore. He jumped from 1700 to 1940 in like a day. And by a day, I mean a week, but still. That's not bad at all. How long has he been playing for anyway? It's a weird looking graph. I imagine he's trending upwards, but it's hard to tell. Well, he hasn't made his move yet. Very nice time advantage that's starting to form. Which is good and bad. Good part is that I'm going to have a time advantage, and that I'm able to explain things a little more clearly. Bad portion of it is that you guys might get bored. Okay, let's see. Is this a viable move? Knight takes. I take here. I guess he can take a pawn and then grab this. So he would end up a pawn up. Probably not in my best interest to do something like that, or trade off too many pieces, because I still want a lot to remain. I also don't necessarily want to just capture this like that. I'm content with recapturing like this. I wonder if maybe d4 is an option, because I could stack some firepower against this, and then he'd be... I guess he would be playing b6 then, which is already kind of natural for him, though. So maybe d4, we get b6. Well, that would give him an isolated pawn, which, I mean, he can liquidate pretty easily. But yeah, isolated pawn all the same. There's also the fact that that bishop on the fianchetto is going to be annoying for that knight. So maybe what I do is take... Or sorry, play this. He plays b6. Maybe I take immediately. I like the idea of d4 anyway, though. It's a pawn push that I will be wanting to make. Getting my rook over to d1 to meet this guy's queen. Okay, so I'm going to be the one with the isolated pawn. I thought this was fine, though, because I have an open file for free. Okay, yeah, so he is going for the bishop like I thought he would. So I could slot this guy onto d3. I could also slot him onto b3. The difference would be if I'm worried about a knight coming here. So, if I go here, knight here, takes, he can target that if he wants to. So maybe then I can reposition either my queen or my bishop. But yeah, I don't think that going to d3 will be bad, because I'm aimed at something decent. This knight actually also will have a potential home here on e5. The fact also remains that even though he kicked back my bishop with this move, he still can't get out his bishop as a result. So it's still stuck. He also has to be careful that he never moves this guy, because then this is technically hanging. If I were to take it, he takes back. I'm winning a rook. Well, it would be partially hanging, I should say. I still shouldn't take the knight with my queen, but even if I did, that would be a more or less equal trade. Probably less, but still. Another piece could easily take it. Well, I mean, a basic plan is forming for me. So, positionally speaking, my weaknesses are this if it ever gets taken by the bishop, or another piece, because I have 3 capture with a pawn, so that's no good. Isolated pawn is obviously going to be no good. And then he has 2 centralized knights. So if he's somehow able to coordinate them to grab my light square bishop, which is extremely strong, then that would be no good. As far as my strengths, I have, I would say, more active pieces, because his rook and bishop are trapped for a little while still. I have the open file. My king is relatively safe, and I can start an attack relatively quickly, I'd say, with my current positioning. I also have a potential outpost on e5, even if it's temporary. I might even play b5 in the future, because what that does is it doesn't allow a6 to ever happen, or a5. It stops the bishop from being able to come to c6. Then it's also going to be protected by some pieces, and it'll open up this diagonal for my bishop. So yeah, b5 is a decent move in the future. I mean, maybe I'll castle in the future too, but I'm not really seeing a need to at the moment. I think I'm just going to keep playing this positionally. So let me think about what I want to do when one of his knights come over to D5. I'm thinking I'll want to defend this. So question remains, do I want to take once? I think I do. So take once and then maybe bishop a3. And then I can play b5. It's an idea. Could also just play bishop a3 right away and then look to play b5. As much as I like the idea of rook a4 too, if he does something like this, I mean the bishop, this is the one diagonal it will have available to it, which is not too good for us. I've realized something as well. With how slow this guy moves and how much time he's spending on the opening, maybe it's not all that surprising that he has high accuracies in his games. Because it's not too hard to have high accuracy over like the first 20 moves if you spend all your time doing that. The only thing is that it's very scary because if you don't get enough of a lead after that time, then you're just going to be time pinched and it's going to be hard to keep up that level of accuracy. Even if he ends up getting like a pawn from me or a slightly better position, if I end up having 15-20 minutes on him, it will not be enough for him. Well, maybe it'll be enough for me, or, you know, against me, because I like to blunder all my endgames for fun. But, yeah, I don't think it's too worrying. Probably want to hold off on knight e5 for a while, though, because he makes a move like this. This is going to fall. That looks ugly. Maybe I castle just so one of my rooks can come to d1. If I need nothing moves, I don't think that castling would be a bad nothing move. I mean, he doesn't have an f5 push idea coming anytime soon. He's got to do like a lot of moves first. This bishop's never going to be a threat for a while. Then even though he has this square available to him, it doesn't lead to anywhere else. It just gets shut down immediately. Yeah, these guys coming here is what I anticipate his next move being. But I'm pretty sure I'm just going to play bishop e3 if he does that. He might have the idea of going queen c7. But maybe I could even like play knight b5 in response. Now that I think about it, this little 1-2 punch isn't even that bad. If the rook moves, then this pawn falls. Excuse that arrow. This game feels a lot more like a classical game, where you could spend half an hour on your opening and still have like 2 hours left over. Well, he's about to drop below 10 minutes. mean, he made an isolated pawn for me, but he also still has to punish it somehow. Which isn't a super easy task. He's got good connection, so it's not like he's struggling to make a move. I don't know, guys. It's weird. Oh, let me actually switch out of this view. Back into the normal one. This is probably more comfortable for you guys. Yeah, he's not giving himself a lot of time to do this. Okay, so I ended up moving the knight. And like I said, I planned on going bishop a3. However, bishop a3 and queen here. I'll probably take. And if he takes, then I'm actually going to move out of harm's way first before I recapture. But I still think I'm going to play bishop a3. Yeah, we'll utilize that time pressure that he created on his own. I didn't even have to force it. That last move took him 9 minutes to do. Makes no sense to me. Yeah, some of his moves have been 1 second, 4 seconds, 6 seconds. So I mean, he's capable of making faster moves, but even if he were to turn on an engine, though, I mean, there's a point where it's like, it's still going to be hard for him to win. I mean, I also have e4 at the right time to kick his knight, force an exchange of sorts. Excuse me. Here, we're going to do a bit more investigate. I wonder how short his games are. Like, are they all like 20 moves or 15 moves? 23, 16, 50. Okay, so some of these are longer. 22, 19, 31, 44. These are relatively low move games, but he wins a lot of them. Am I going to get DDoSed? I don't get it. Maybe I will get DDoSed. Well, if I lose connection, I think this still records anyway. Let's go back to the in-game screen. Yeah, he also might start blitzing out moves, which is another strategy I see from time to time. So we just have to be ready for all the above. Alright, he's under 6 minutes. Any moment now you can start playing, my guy. This is definitely a weakness of mine, but I don't plan on using the full 23 minutes to finish this. I'd rather, like, just try beating him on the clock. I've already just had to wait here for so long. We're now officially in Blitz game territory for him. A lot of interesting players, though. When I was queuing up, I don't show the queue up process anymore just because, like I said, it gets really long for the 30 minutes for high rating. But there was someone else that I was matched up against, and I clicked on their profile, as I always do, to scope people out, make sure I don't find any cheaters. And this guy had like 70 wins and 3 losses. And then I was looking at like his match history, and at least one of the losses was against someone that was banned. So very likely that he was a Grandmaster Smurf, or more than likely just a abuser. Yeah, it looks like he's just going to be losing on time. I don't know why he's doing this. Maybe he has some hack that adds like 20 seconds to his clock each time. I don't know. But yeah, I know that people have computers that they use in bullet chess. So I mean, theoretically, he could get the best move done. You know, with like a second each move. But when he reaches 3 minutes, that'll be 180 moves. They'll be perfect. Which he could definitely still beat me with. Okay, well obviously I just gotta recapture there. I think I'd say with confidence that I'd survive like 50 moves against a computer in this position. Okay, so is he targeting this, it seems? So I could go right back, but then he's kind of got a good eye on that. Not to mention he could just put his queen here. Yeah, also if I go here, then he might, in the future, get his rook to occupy that. So maybe it's better to just go b2 for now. Although then I'm in line with his bishop. So maybe b3 is correct. Also, if he goes here, I do want to push. So maybe b3 is correct, just so I have 2 points of contact with this thing. We'll go b3. Okay. So now he's establishing that diagonal that I said was kind of scary. And I don't want to go here. So maybe I play b5 and then slide a rook over. This guy would go here. Maybe I drop the knight back, but I don't know. Anyway, b5 looks like I get this move out of him no matter what. So I wonder if then I go something like e4. But is e4 better or after b5? And probably e5 would make sense, right? And this would be an annoying backwards pawn, but I think I defend it quite well. Well, I'll start with b5. So we'll get rook to come over. This actually leads to this move, which I'm not fond of. So maybe this move, or I'll bring my rook over. To c1. So here in bishop, castle, he does something stupid with this. There's nothing he could threaten, though. Even though this would ruin my structure with the bishop, it's still not losing. So this is probably fine. Yep, like I said, I want to move a bit faster here. Just to put pressure. I would say his position's a little better, but nothing nuts. So here I wonder if he's trying to get me to make that move. Yeah, maybe I should double up first. All right. Keeping some pressure on him with the clock. He's definitely blitzing moves out now, so we know his strategy a little bit, at least. Okay. Clock's still going for him. And he's chosen to do that. So, I want to bring my knight here now. Try to get it onto the d6 square. Alright, he's got like a minute. Again, he's only got a slight advantage on me. That's it. I would say maybe negative like 0.3 or 0.5 or something. It's a relatively equal position. So I don't know how he's going to transform that into a win with a minute. Alright, I mean, that does open things up. It's going to improve his bishop. However, if I go here, takes in here, it's not going to be too comfy for. I could even take first, bishop takes, knight here. Is he bold enough to sacrifice? No, because he doesn't have either of these moves. But if I go here, then he could drop back. So here takes, I'd have to go here. Rook takes, queen takes. That's tough. I think it's fine for me, though. I could also just play solid, which might be smartest, since time's getting interesting. But I could opt to take, and then just go right here to defend. And then bishop coming over to e4. Could maybe be an option. But I could devote a few minutes here. I mean, he has 59 seconds. I'd be pretty mad if I lost 11 points here. When he's been trolling the whole time. I don't think these pawns matter too much. Here, take, and here. Even if he takes with a rook. I mean, maybe I take first. Then what I can do is I can threaten this thing. So take rooks and then threaten knight d5. He's going to have to respond to it. But when he responds, he might change the position of his queen, which makes this more annoying. I guess when he repositions, I can take here. And then bishop takes, and then knight to f3. We'll do that. Okay, so this move's no longer possible, but this could be decent. So he probably still would want to defend. So we'll go here with the idea of planting the bishop on c6. Yeah, he's got 20 seconds. I just need to not get checkmated and I win this. Okay. I could even do something silly like just play h3. I could also just take the pawn. But I mean, I cover all the possible back rank threats. So it doesn't truly matter how I do this. Very interesting. I have no idea what he was doing. He obviously could move quick. Let's game review it. Yeah, I had the same accuracy that he had, despite using literally like a fifth of his time. Well, let's see what he was thinking about. He's from the Netherlands. I want to message him and ask him what the hell's wrong with him. Yeah, where'd I play a weird move? Knight c3 is a weird move. I would disagree with that, but I'm not a computer, so. Yeah, c5 is interesting. I play d4. They say I should take. I guess that's because that's how I ended up getting my isolated pawns, so I'll agree with them there. I'm still winning. Oh, queen d2, possible. But then with queen d2, I mean, I can't push this. So I'm pretty much stuck with keeping it like that. Although I support this move. So that makes sense, I guess. b6, b5. Rook c1 is wrong. But here I was really just trying to time pressure him, so. Bishop b7, castles, queen d7. This makes no sense to me. I feel like he would just take and I'd be worse. Oh, shoot. Hold up. So if I go here, 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 let's say he does a nothing move. e4. Yeah, I have a pretty good defense here, not to mention I could put my bishop on d6. Okay. Anyway. I played rook c2, just trying to double, just getting his time lower. Knight d2. Yeah, same principle applies. Could have been okay. I took. And they prefer. Oh! Yeah, because you have this threat at the end of it. I was thinking that I have this threat that he moves it, I pick up the bishop, but the queen still supports. Whereas here, even though the queen still supports this pawn, if the queen moves, he's in trouble. The pawn can't move. So this weird turn of events. And this is how the game kind of continues. So this is where he must have ran out of time. But yeah, I'm sorry guys. That was a pretty boring game. I mean, I had high accuracy, so I mean, I don't think I played badly. It's just that I don't know if his strategy was just to like get my time low and then be like more accurate later, but it just didn't end up happening. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you learned something at least from the opening phase, and I will catch you guys later.